You and Luka talking back and forth.
No, but this was gonna be happening every game now.
For sure.
Bro,
You can't say hello to someone without someone thinking, you know how it goes.
welcome to another episode of Thanalysis show with your one and only Thanasis Antetokounmpo and Tony.
What's up, man?
See, what's up with Milwaukee? Finally.
You've been in Milwaukee for, I believe, the last 3 home games.
Yeah,
And I know because you can't go into public without someone sending us, whether it's a text or a tweet or an email.
I came in and I was like, TA has come back to Milwaukee.
It had to feel good, right?
Bro, it was great. We got a dub. We was winning, so I'm happy about that. You know, obviously the last game didn't go where we wanted it to go, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
So we're gonna have a Bucks episode to go over all those games.
I mean,
so.
we are. I mean, I don't know if you want to do it now, but before we do anything, I want to give a huge special thanks to our sponsors and to have 2 announcements. Should I do the announcements first or the sponsors?
We'll get to the announcements second. Start off with our great sponsors that we already
Great sponsors. First of all, number 1 sponsor, Gruber Law Offices. Thank you so much. One call, that's all.
That's all.
Thank you. Second sponsor, Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Thank you. You guys are amazing. It's second year with them. And not only that, the way, the hospitality, the food and beverage, the exclusivity, the luxury they have in that hotel, in that casino is amazing. Please go follow. Second sponsor. And then we have 2 more sponsors coming to the dream team of the Analysis show.
Let's go.
Which is one company, Prisoners Wine and Spirits. Thank you guys so much for investing with us. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And last but not least, and we're loving it, McDonald's. Yes, and that's how you know you're in the big leagues now. And that's how
true.
you know.
Let's
go.
It couldn't be better for my interests in life. We have the Prisoner Wine Company and McDonald's. I'm in. The perfect partners.
They
for the
are
Analysis Show
amazing.
podcast.
Keep growing the pod. Keep growing the show. Thank you guys so much. And after the show, let's go, Tony. Come on.
All right, so I want to start off where, like I said, we have a Bucks episode that's going to drop on YouTube.
Okay.
But I wanted to start here because this is a little bit of crossover into the NBA.
Okay.
So you get to Bucks Lakers.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
You get to Bucks Lakers, and this is how locked in TA is. There was a lot going on at the game that night.
Yeah.
There were other celebrities in the crowd. The Packers head coach was there. Was like,
Yep.
I got a few minutes, and I was just like, in my mind, I'm like, TA, create content. Talk to Coach LaFleur. Edrin Cooper was there. Talk to him. Do it, and you're like, I'm here for the basketball game because it was your first one back.
I know. I'm here for the game.
And I
man.
understand that. But during the game, not only was it a great basketball game, Luka goes off for 45, but you stole the show. Shocking.
Why you say that?
Because everywhere I looked, the highlights on television, all over social, was you and Luka talking back and forth.
No, but this was gonna be happening every game now.
For sure.
Bro,
You can't say hello to someone without someone thinking,
bro,
you know how it
he
goes.
literally was. I was like, "Hey, what's up, bro? He's good. Hermano, ¿cómo estás? Everything." You know, he speaks Spanish.
I was
and
going to
he's-
say, so you guys communicate mostly in Spanish, right?
Actually, it doesn't matter. It's Spanish or like, you know, whichever one. And he was like, "Hey, man, today." I'm like, "Hey, take your time." I was like, "Hey, take your time." He's like, "No, I gotta play today." So that's what he was like. He would score. He would look at me like, "I told you, I gotta play today. I gotta play."
Love
but
that.
it was good to see him, man. I loved it because like I think it's his best game with the Lakers jersey. First of all,
Points wise, for sure.
for
45,
sure.
yeah.
And just him like showing his greatness without LeBron in the building, and just him like leading the team. And they caught it close for a little bit. So I was like, I got worried for a little bit, but
So how do you respond to that when you guys are going back and forth?
Yeah.
And it's all friendly.
It's not back
all,
and forth.
So you guys are
Yeah.
communicating. Yeah. Like it's all friendly. Just so I don't want this to get picked up by Bleacher
no,
Report,
it's not. We don't care, bro.
but-
They could say whatever they want to say.
So when you're talking to him and then he goes off for, I think he had a couple spurts where he had like 7 straight. He's hitting deep threes.
Yeah.
Do you stop when he's back, or like when do you keep communicating with him?
Why would I stop? What do you mean stop?
Like, so I asked this because I got a text that night that said, TA needs to stop talking shit to Luka. We don't need him going off for 80.
Yeah, but you knew how the game was gonna go. Guys,
sure.
okay, you knew how the game was gonna go. They didn't have a lot of players that was gonna, they was gonna get gassed out at some point and play. Now, obviously, during the playoffs or whatever, it's second nature. You can just go back and forth with anybody. But you're talking about the back and forth, like talking shit. I wasn't talking shit.
I know.
He was just trying to prove to me, like, oh look,
Did you see how they cut it though? Did you see the highlights?
No.
So he hit a 3 on the far side of the court, and then like you naturally do when you come back down, he kind of circled around and he ran past you and turned around and started playing defense.
Yeah.
And the camera shows you sitting talking, and then shows him, and then slow-mo, he starts to smile.
Of course.
And then so it was going
because we're laughing.
But it was going to break. It was, they showed like Luka hits the 3, runs back down, looks at you, turns around, and then like this slow, like the
because I'm like,
and
I'm telling him, like,
watching.
It's supposed to be a day off. Like, take your time, like stuff like that. I'm not talking shit.
See, this is why it's great, because people could be like, oh, they were talking back and forth.
Yeah.
Or
I've known. You remember a game with Luka when Luka went to the press and said, like, yo, I've been part of a game overseas and the atmosphere, like, it's not even close during the finals. You know which game he was talking about?
I'm assuming one you played in.
Yes, he was talking. So when we played against each other for to go to the Final Four in the EuroLeague, it was Panathinaikos and Real Madrid. And we, at the time, our coach, Xavi Pascual, shout out Xavi, amazing coach.
That game had to be incredible.
We was winning the first quarter 20-0. 20-0.
You were up 20-0 on Luka?
20-0, but you can only imagine in Europe, 20-0 is like going 36-2 in the NBA. Like, because it's more scoring. But I remember coach was like, Thanasis, you got an assignment. And I was like, what? You got to chase this kid around. And I remember I was chasing him like there is no tomorrow. And obviously one of my assignments always been like, just guarding the other team's best player and like, like getting their head or whatever in a good way, not like playing dirty or anything like that, but like really being physical. And I remember I was chasing him around. I was like, oh, he's 18 years old.
I was going to ask, he had to be 17,
yeah, he's like 18
point.
years old. So I'm like, I'm older than him, like, right? And I'm chasing him around, and he was just like overwhelming in the crowd. And I remember like that game was incredible. But that's the game he's talking about. But I've known him for so long. Like, bro, he comes to Greece and he, I'm saying, like he calls me like it would never be like a.
So for those clipping this, they're friends.
No, but
it goes deep.
But even if it wasn't friends, as an example, why do people care? Like, why is everybody has to be so friends? I understand. Like, you don't have to be. I'm not saying you got to be enemies, but why do you have to be friends with everybody?
That's not the way the world works. You either have to be best friends or mortal enemies.
Okay,
There's no middle.
Yeah, which mind you, I'm telling you, like 20% of the league, like I've interacted with them outside of court and during the summers and FIBA. Like, I know them. So
we've seen clips of recently when you were at a game. I think it was a game in Greece, or maybe you traveled a little bit, but he played with the Bucks. Your former teammate Sterling Brown. We saw you link up with him.
Yeah,
there's always interactions. I don't think people realize, like, outside of NBA games.
Yeah.
Whether it's Nike events, NBA events, whatever it is, all summer long overseas. Like, you guys see each other. Like, LeBron and Draymond do a show together.
Oh yeah.
And people they played against each other in the finals 5 straight years.
Exactly.
Everyone's like, they do a show.
Exactly. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But it's good. It's good to have a podcast so you can clear.
Exactly. That's what we do here. Did you see? Now I just got a ton of NBA topics. I want your opinion.
Go.
Did you see the clip? It was on Gilbert Arenas, Gil's Arena.
What did he say?
He was talking about. There was a report. He got it from somewhere, but in 2011, after the Miami Heat lost to the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals, Pat Riley tried to trade LeBron from Miami to the Orlando Magic for Dwight Howard.
I don't know if that's true.
He said that there was a power struggle.
I don't know that that's true. The second part, maybe. I believe, maybe the second part.
It was just an interesting, like, what if?
The first part, is rumor. It's gonna be always rumors like that. And the second part, maybe. I mean, it's LeBron James. He's always been, the guy who like really, runs some stuff in inter-organization, and it's okay because there's always guys like that around the league, right? obviously his culture is different. So you go by. There has to be a cooperation. I do believe that. I do believe there has to be cohesiveness. I don't know. There has to be a good synergy between players and the franchise,
Definitely.
especially the players who they're gonna build their future with. So.
It's a fun report.
Yeah, it's a fun report, but I would say state your source.
It's J101, man. You can't do that. Journalism 101. You have sources.
I know.
You got multiple. Can ever.
Never.
No, but then it had me thinking about just like what the league would have looked like. So
totally different.
Dwayne Wade, Dwight Howard, and Chris Bosh.
Yeah, it would be tough. But the thing is, you had Chris Bosh. That's the only reason I'm saying I don't know.
That's fair.
Of the synergy, however you thought it coaching wise, because you already had Chris Bosh. If you didn't have him, then I'd be like, they probably might have tried to get a superstar big, but who knows?
Yeah, it's just interesting, and it reminded me of like the things that never happened that were close.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember? This was before you guys got here, but like when Chris Paul was traded to the Lakers, and then David Stern said no to that trade and like vetoed it. And there's so many moves like across all sports where it's just like, we were so close to trading for this player. What could have happened? That one would have been fun because Dwayne Wade, I think, just like the dynamic of him and Dwight Howard together would have been a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun on that one.
I mean, it was fun. He's dynamic with him and LeBron James.
Yeah, I mean that was
fantastic.
So remember a couple episodes ago, I forgot who we were talking about. I think it was just like MVP race, and everyone's got to be like, you either love or hate this guy, whatever. And we were like, man, you just got to appreciate players while they're playing. I was, I think, just starting college when LeBron made the decision he went to Miami. And it like wasn't a fun team to cheer for because it was like, oh, they all teamed up, whatever. There is no player I underappreciated more while he was playing than Dwayne Wade.
Everybody, not just
like,
you.
I really liked him
Everybody.
Before the LeBron era. And then I kind of was just like, I'm done with it. And now I look back, I should have watched every time that man stepped on basketball. He's like, I don't want to get into ratings.
I tried the best I could watch him play. I remember the first time I saw Dwayne, I remember I saw him at the All-Star game. And the only reason I said that because I was young, I had low cut, everything. I had like just earrings. And Shaq walked by me. Was like, "Oh man, Dwayne Wade looking ass." I was like, "Huh?" And then I was like, "Why would he say that?" Mind you, the huge comment. I was like, "Oh shoot," And I was at the All-Star game, and then I saw D Wade. They came in, was playing and everything. I was like, so amazing. Then I was watch his highlights, watch how he plays. Like he's on the sheer athleticism, the way he gets to.
He was a
rim,
video
bro.
game, man. The first time I saw D Wade in person, I grew up in Milwaukee, obviously, and we got like free tickets from like elementary school to see Marquette when they were in Conference USA, and I had never been to a college basketball game before. And I saw Dwayne Wade the year they made the run of the Final Four. This was in the regular season, probably against some directional college, whoever. And I was just like, oh, Marquette has a player who was in like fourth grade. You don't really judge players yet. It's like, oh, they got a guy who's really good. He turns out to be Dwayne Wade. I'll just say, just so no one argues with us, top 5 guard of all time, no questions asked.
There's nothing we can talk about.
I
that.
Underappreciated his career.
You got like it's certain guys. I'm telling you, like you gotta show not only show the respect, like because you're judged by the body of work. Like that's why I said, we had this conversation about who the face of the league, right? Mm-hmm. And how do you?
Oh, that's when this popped up. We were talking about
the face of the league and stuff like that, and obviously it's a little bit off segment, but like. Think about the face of the league. You cannot go based on what they want you to believe. It's the face of the league, right? You have to like have your own criteria, which is good or bad, whatever the case might be. I heard one time, and I don't remember who it was. He said, you can't be the face of the league because if they can't pronounce your name. I'm like, what?
They
can pronounce your first name.
Mm-hmm. LeBron. They do that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Nikola.
Pretty sure.
Giannis.
Other entertainment.
Kevin. They can pronounce your first name. It doesn't really matter. But I'm saying the reason I say that is because like us as being players, we understand the body of work, respect. Like I think it has to do with 2 things, right? The one is how you've treated people, right? You could be the best player in the world, but if you've been an a-hole to everybody, nobody cares about you. Nobody treats you with respect, right? But then you have some other guys who, based on the body of work they've done in the league, like you shake their hand, like you like salute. Shake their hand. And obviously, there's certain players who are still active, right? You can't, just go off the limb and start, doing that. But when they're done, when you hit the top 75, when Nikolai is done, then said, when Giannis is done, it's said, when all those guys, you're like, they're going to walk in the same shoes that all the other guys walked in, which is be Wilt.
Oh, yeah.
when these guys walked in, Charles, but like when you walk in, then they shake each other. I'm like, hey.
You paved the way.
Yeah.
As a fan.
Yeah. And go and have this back and forth like, oh, man, you got this. Oh, I got that, but I got you. You got me. That's the respect of, you know what I'm saying? The respect of.
That's what makes TNT such a good show.
Yeah.
Because obviously they give Charles a hard time for not having a ring, but you can tell that
you cannot deny the body of work.
And that's the thing, because it's not. Everything is said like out of love. Like I respect what you did. However, I got 5 or I got whatever.
And that goes by, goes beyond who you are, what's your name, American, not American, where you from. It goes into it's a thing that is said. You see that. That's why people kept saying, oh my God, you see these certain individual come in the room and you feel their presence. It's because of the body of work they've done. Okay, go to the next one.
No doubt.
Sorry,
right.
don't want to
next on
left
the
a
list
little bit
here,
off
going through
topic.
NBA topics.
Yeah.
I was speaking of moves that had never happened. I saw the Roommate show with Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson.
Bro, I like that show. It's
good
fun.
show. They had Jim Dolan on their show the other day, and he said the Knicks almost traded for Vince Carter at one point.
Wow.
But he was told that his Achilles was 90% torn.
Wow.
And
he jumped this high.
Yep. And so the quote was something along the lines of like, so I always waited for the report that his Achilles was going to tear, and it just never came.
It came.
And yeah, that would have been an interesting one. New York always looking for that superstar. Vince Carter would have put on a show there. I mean, he was great in Jersey and everywhere he played.
They would love him.
Yeah, for sure. So I want you to put you're watching film, right?
Yeah.
You're watching the Cavs. You're watching the Thunder. If they were wearing Celtics jerseys and Lakers jerseys, same players.
Yeah, we're talking about comparing to the team, one of the best teams having one of the best seasons of all times, and comparing to other historical runs and teams.
Not even historic runs. I was just listening to some the other day that was just like all the reasons. There was just like some the Cavs they have 11 losses now.
Yeah.
We have 15 games to go, whatever it is, and it was just like, I don't really believe in the Cavs.
What?
And I just feel as if the Celtics were playing like the Cavaliers right now, people would be like, greatest season ever. No one's going to stop them in the playoffs. And you watch the Cavs, they're good, man.
They're good.
Obviously, they're good. Like, I just have when it comes to this, like if the Cavs and the Thunder, or even like the Rockets, if they were wearing other jerseys, I feel like people would take them a lot more seriously.
No, but they trust me. This is just a whole it's an outside looking in. If you're in the inside, everybody has respect for them.
Okay.
Everybody. No, I don't think anybody wants to play them right away. Nobody wants to play them right away. They say, my first match, I want my first matchup to be OKC, or I want my first matchup to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you think like that, you're a dummy. If you're thinking that way, you are, because that means you don't understand that these teams have been playing the best basketball and the most steady and the most consistent, and they're deep. Like they're bench, they know how to play, and they're playing with certain rules and certain discipline. So you'll be a dummy to say, okay, that's my matchup. Like no, now big moments create big players, and all around the league there's a lot of big players who've done it before. So it's just hard to replicate, and we know that. Sure. People who've been there know it's hard to replicate. So. That's why they keep saying it. That's why people outside looking in keep saying I'm not yet ready to say, that a team that has 50 wins almost, on a pace to win 68 is a good team or a bad team.
Yeah, the way they move the ball, hit the three, like the way they're 10, 11 deep, and then they added DeAndre Hunter. They're nice, and I just feel like they get I get it. Like this is how the game works. It is what it is. Before we keep moving, we mentioned some of our partners and our sponsors earlier in the show. We work with another company, Candy Funhouse. Yeah. So when we have guests on the show, we're going to try to get them to try sour candy or hot candy or things like that. We're not going to do that one today, but I did have Candy Funhouse send this bag of Harry Potter gummies over. Have you seen these? They sent them the other day. So they sent a nice little care package.
You know what it is? I mean, I don't.
We can try.
I'm gonna sit down and eat. Okay. In down in Canada like that, but like with Harry Potter, you can never go wrong.
Yep, it's perfect. So that's the
Look what I got.
is it a little thunderbolt?
You know what? It was crazy. So I had a coach when I was in Greece. When I was in Greece, my second year in Panathinaikos, I had a coach. Guess his name?
Your second year in I'm guessing it was Harry Potter related somehow.
It's the Lightning. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I thought about that. His first name is R. Starts with R. His last name starts with P.
Ronald Potter.
No, Rick Pitino.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
On the list.
So Rick Pitino.
I think mine's an owl. I'm gonna try that.
Okay. So Rick Pitino was my coach. They used to call me Flash. That was his nickname.
Flash.
Well, because he was like, so you're so fast for like, okay, 6'7". So he used to call me Flash. That's why when I saw the Lightning, I used to have my name in the board with the Lightning.
See, I went nerd like Harry Potter.
No.
It's the Ron bag.
And I thought about it because he had a very interesting segment. It had to be a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, talking about like they're not recruiting for high schoolers, and I was like, what? And then I thought about it, just him saying like, what am I gonna do with this talent when guys are coming in and leaving? Mm-hmm. That's a market now. Now it is what it is. It's the NCAA. It's like teams. It's professional now, basically.
100% is. And
so you come in, you treat me good, I stay. You treat me bad, I'm out.
So when you're being recruited now, like why go somewhere that you're not gonna play? Like even if you get an offer to go to like a mid-major,
you won't go.
No. You now if you're not gonna play, you won't go. So like. Now, if you're a 4-star recruit, say, and I'm just going to use Marquette as an example, right? Marquette's recruiting you, and coach is like, hey, you're going to be our 8th guy this year. You better off going to play in the Horizon League 1 year, get noticed by a college that's going to be recruiting big time again, and then get an NIL deal and go into that school the year after. Because you can transfer without sitting out. There's coaches are now actively recruiting JUCOs and like not lower tier, but just like smaller schools at the D1 level. Like it all makes sense. I wanted to ask you about Rick Pitino today.
He was?
Yeah, I have him on the list because he's back, man. Rick Pitino is back.
You know, he has a way. So this is the thing. And it doesn't always work, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well,
it doesn't always work. I'm telling you this. But he has a way.
It's been working in college.
Yeah, of course. He has a way of like, he finds a way, right? And I remember when he came to Panathinaikos in the middle of the season, we won like 10 or 11 in a row. We had to make playoffs, so we won 10 and 11 in a row. Mind you, Panathinaikos as a team, we are, it is a team that plays very, very physical and at home. Like you better, like you might not lose a game at home if you play with heart and physicality, right? If you play like nonchalant, you will lose.
You lose, okay.
So I remember he came and we won like 10, 11 in a row probably, and we went to make the playoffs. We played Madrid again. We couldn't get it done. But he had his way with everybody, you know. Like he came in first day, he had his nickname for everybody. First day, he watched us run around. He's like, "Okay, you're Flash." I think we had a kid from one of my friends from Lithuania, like Luka Doncic. He called him Luke Skywalker. You're like Luke Skywalker. Like he had a nickname for everybody.
Just everybody right off the
bat. But first thing with him was like deflections, steals, like very, very analytics for Europe. In Europe, it doesn't work this way. Analytics work in a totally different way. In Europe, analytics works by player. It doesn't work by team, right? So he was a lot of deflections, running. We're gonna defend. We're gonna do all these things, which was totally opposite than Europe, because Europe is that consistency of like saying like, if this guy doesn't shoot good, we're gonna let him shoot as many things as he wants, and we're gonna all defend and not let, let's say, Navarro or Vasilis Panoulis or anybody or Diamandidis get the ball. We're gonna let him shoot, right? So that's how it's based on player. But it was a good stint. And then I remember he coached national team a little bit. I didn't play with him, national team, so he coached for a little bit. It was the year we won, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the year we won the championship with the Bucks. He was the coach of the national team.
Gotcha. I didn't know
so,
that.
Yeah.
He's coaching St. John's right now.
Yeah.
March Madness is about to start, hence the Badger hoodie today. But so he was at Louisville, then he bounced around a little bit. Obviously, whatever happened there happened, and then he was at like Iona.
Yeah.
And then I think he like turned that program around, and now St. John's is like a top 10 team in the country, and he's doing interviews, and it's just like, Rick Pitino seems back on the basketball
Good,
scene.
man. It's good. It's good. It's the story, man. That's how the story goes. Makes the cycle.
I have 2 more quick questions for you on this episode. As a basketball coach, like you got guys like there's coaches that I've played for that like I'm like, all right, like they got my back. They're cool people. And then there's guys I look at like Pat Riley and I'm like, I'd be so scared of you. Is Rick Pitino scary?
I mean, I think everybody should command respect and be scary to a certain level of like I don't wanna fail them. Not scary as in I can't talk to them. If you're an athlete and you're scared to talk like communicate to your coach or to communicate to your GM saying like, hey, this is what makes me feel bad, like this is what I need.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. There's no reason for you to in sports now. If yours,
Maybe that's why I flamed out. So
no. The reason I say that is because you have to be scared to not fail them. You have to be scared. Like I got to play for. I got to be in my A game as a person, as an individual, as a character, on and off the court. Yes,
there's like a
but
level
not
of
be
respect.
scared to talk to them.
For sure.
If you're scared to talk to somebody or explain your feelings, you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? This is not like.
We were talking about Pat Riley earlier in the show, and there's like those stories of him recruiting Chris Bosh, and he laid the rings out on the table and then gave him one and said, "Return it when you get your own." And I was just like, "Yep, like that's like how would you would not want to fail a guy like that?
Exactly.
Like, that's incredible.
But at the same time, if they see you're like that, they won't fail you either.
Yeah, that's
Right.
fair.
If they see you're like that, they'll be like, and this is most of the relationships I've had with like and former teammates, former players, former like coaches I've had. You know, I've whoever I play for, I give everything I have for them. So yeah.
So the last quick one I have for you: did you see the highlights all over the internet?
What highlights?
There was the Duke UNC game or a couple of days ago.
Okay.
It was a ACC tournament game. UNC is down by 1 at the free throw line, and one of their players stepped into the lane, and they called it. It stepped in the lane, pulled his foot back. They call the lane violation. Duke gets the ball. They get fouled. They win by 3. Did you see this clip at all?
Oh wait. So if you step in, you miss the free throw. You lose the free throw.
Yeah, because he made the free throw, and they said like doesn't count, and Duke got to inbound the ball. So they called the lane violation with like this is like 3 seconds left on the clock. UNC tied it with the made free throw, and then they called it off and gave Duke possession. UNC is still down 1.
No, you gotta. So I'm one of the things I really believe is that it's based on the criteria of the referee of how you want to call it. But there's a universal law refereeing that says like in the last 2 seconds or 3 seconds or 5 seconds, you let the player decide the game, right? What does that mean? That means if he makes the free throw, he made it. He didn't miss it. If he didn't miss it, you stepped and you give them back the free throw. You have to be in a certain way of saying like, okay, they tied it, they didn't win a game. If you let somebody win a game on a step violation or a free throw, it's bad. Now, if you go back and the game was tied, if they made the free throw, you let the Duke player or the USC whoever was playing decide the game. They make it, cool. If they don't make it, and that only happens if the game is on the line. If the game is not, I'll give an example. If I'm going to score and somebody hits my arm or I hit somebody's arm while shooting, it's a foul. There's nothing you can do about it if I'm affecting his shot.
Yep.
What I'm saying is, if he's playing against me and all of a sudden he jab steps and like he moves his pivot foot like this and he still shoots it and you go like, oh, it's a travel. Like it's let the shot decide it. You can't.
The shot decide.
Yeah, and I'm the defender.
No.
I'm saying that as a defender.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that
not
makes
saying
sense. Because so I saw this play happen and everyone was outraged. They were like, swallow the whistle, don't call that, which I guess makes sense from a lot of people. But I remember you telling us earlier in a couple episodes ago how throughout the course of a game, referees talk to you and you go up to them and you say, what you got for me?
Yes.
And it's like, stop doing this, don't do this. Like, so I listening to the conversation about this and people so upset with this referee, rightfully so or not, in the back of my head, I was like, I wonder if earlier in the game,
He told him?
yeah, like, hey, are you consistently
way.
doing this?
No way he told. There's no way. I didn't see the game.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, there's no way he told him because we're talking about a play that's in the last minute of the game, and if somebody's stepping in, like, it's a violation. Like, even if you don't call it, there's a difference between, let's say you're playing, right? And I keep putting my hands on you. You're going to be like, hands, hands, hands. What does that mean? From the 10 times I put my hands on you, they called it 1 time.
Yeah.
So it's 10 times. But that call, it doesn't happen often. Like, he does it. It's not like for 40 times. He's stepping in. He's stepping in.
I see players like lean in and do stuff a lot.
Yeah.
So I was just curious. Like in my head, I was trying to maybe give the referee the doubt. Like, all right, maybe he like corrected this.
No, he might have. He might have. Listen, we're not. But I don't know. College basketball, man. I don't watch college basketball till like the Final Four.
And that's where we're going to be at in a couple of weeks. So
Hopefully.
it's fun to
Sure.
see how all this plays out. That's the end of the NBA style episode. But before we go on the YouTube version of this and the audio version, we have a really cool conversation. You weren't there for this. I don't even know if I told you that this happened. So the EuroLounge got together while you were away on business.
It's what happens, man.
Yep.
But no, you guys sit to watch the interview. It's amazing. Listen to it. It does give some cool ass stories. It's with my guys, Stefan Lasme and James Gist, and they have a special guest, Kyle Hines. Please watch the interview. You're gonna enjoy it.
We got a big episode of the EuroLounge Pod scheduled for today. James Gist, Steph Lasme with us, and like always, we're going to head on some of the biggest things happening in European basketball, the EuroLeague, with two guys who did it better than most. However, on a recent episode of Thanalysis, we started talking about the rivalries that take place in European basketball. I thought the Yankees and Red Sox here in the U.S. were a big rivalry, and then I learned what actually happens at basketball games over there and was super intrigued. So we were telling stories. I think, James, you said two of the Greek teams the fans weren't allowed in the same arena at the same time, which is amazing. I love that kind of passion from fans. And then, Steph, I think you're the one who brought up that a player got hit with a flare at one point during one of the pregame warmups, and so we obviously had to reach out to that player. Kyle Hines has joined us today. He's safe. I think the flare thing was about a decade ago, but he's obviously he's safe from that incident. And thanks so much.
I'm still ducking him now, man. I'm still ducking him now.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna get to that story later on, but I'll start with the first question here. And just like once, obviously, thanks for joining us. But then, what has your basketball life? What have you been up to recently?
First of all, appreciate you guys for having me part of the podcast. James and Steph are both my guys. We've had a lot of battles with each other, on the court, but we also had a lot of fun off the court, being in Athens and, being around each other. So I think definitely, I think all three of us, have helped make each other better, and have definitely been like, sounding boards on, taking advice on each other's career. But yeah, man, I just recently retired this year, this summer. I wanted to get back home. I got 3 small kids, so I wanted them to get closer to their families, closer to my parents and my wife's grandparents. So we came back home to Jersey, and honestly, like I wasn't really looking to really get into something. I really was just going to take this year to kind of like chill and kind of get the family in the right situation, and kind of I'm sure these guys could tell we're all retired, kind of get a breath of fresh air, from getting outside of the routine. But almost immediately after I retired, I got a call from the Brooklyn Nets, and they asked me to do summer league with them. So I went to summer league, and they said like come out and just try it out, and then kind of start figuring out what you want to do next. And I actually enjoyed it so much that they gave me an opportunity to basically kind of come on almost, I guess you could call almost like an intern, of which I guess you could say. So I'm basically kind of like taking on a role where I'm kind of like on the floor with the guys, and kind of just taking on an opportunity to kind of learn through the NBA. I haven't played in the NBA, so I'm basically just learning a lot of different things, whether or not it's just being on the floor, being in what how an NBA team runs. But like I said, I've been very fortunate to be able to kind of jump on board with them and kind of help me through like this throughout this transition period of trying to figure out what's next, because I'm sure they could tell you as well, it's not easy. Like it's not easy. You in our minds we think it's easy. Like, yeah, we just gonna stop, and all of a sudden, like one day, you just realize, like, dang, like I'm not really a hooper anymore. I don't have that routine. I don't have, all those things that come along with that anymore. And then also with the transition of coming back home to the States, I've been away from home for almost 20 years. So this is like my first time like really being home and, being in the USA and, being home during the wintertime and actually like living in my house. Like
Right.
I've never lived in my house. So it's like, I'm finding out like little things like, I got to get, all the little stuff. Like you got to get light bulbs changed and this is going out and that's going out. And my wife looking at me and I'm like, when we overseas, we just call the manager like, yo, the light bulb out me. I need somebody to come through to come help me out, or this is out. Now all of a sudden I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So, but yeah, exactly. Now I'm running around Home Depot and all these other places. But
get that Home Depot card.
Yeah, man, you need that. But overall, it's been a fun experience, man. It's been a fun experience to be back home and seeing my kids kind of enjoy the process of being home. I know we got my man Gist is a Redskins fan, but the Eagles won a Super Bowl, so it's like seeing my kids want to run around with that Kelly green on and celebrating the Super Bowl. Like it's kind of weird to say. Like my son didn't know what football was, bro. Like I had it on, but like he never seen football. So like football to him is soccer. So like so he's a big time like soccer fan. So like he's coming back, he's like, yo, who are the Eagles and what is this and what is that? And they won a Super Bowl. So now like he's diehard. He be running around here screaming EAGL Eagles and all that different type stuff. So like it's been fun, like, like seeing them become like American kids and like kind of like do all that different type of stuff. So I'm loving the transition. I do miss hoops at times. I'm sure we all do, but I'm enjoying the transition of being home.
Wholeheartedly, man. I want people to really understand like who we talking to right now, man. I think it's just a proper introduction. Like, take it all the way back to when we were coming out of college and we were starting to prep for the draft, man, back with Edon over at Georgetown. Yep. Me, you, Joey Dorsey, I think Giannis Jerebko pulled up to a couple workouts with us, man, prepping, getting ready. And just the workouts and everything that we went through, we didn't know the road that we were going to go on. You feel me?
No.
We didn't know how anything was going to turn up. I'm not sure how your situation was. I mean, you came from Gabon. You went to college in the States. Your first time was different too as well. But prepping and getting ready for the league, you know how it is. But at the same time, Kyle, you was able to go from being undrafted to, going overseas. You started out in Italy. You went to Germany. Didn't you play in a Trincaria, I think, at Bamberg?
In Italy. He was my first coach.
Italy, he was your first coach. Okay, so I mean, you got you a Euro Cup, man. You got you EuroLeagues after EuroLeagues after EuroLeagues. You got you. I mean, I'm sitting at the table right now with two people that have a defensive player of the year for the EuroLeague, man. I mean, that's one thing I don't have. I don't hold that.
You ain't got none of that. You ain't got none of that. You ain't got none of hate.
Talking to. We talking to some people that had years and years of experience, champions, won championships, for a long time, man. You did it at a high level, man, and that's just a high respect as an American. You're probably the most decorated one, so salute you, for real.
Appreciate it.
Like GOAT shit.
Congrats on the
real.
career.
That's a real conversation.
I appreciate it, man.
When it comes
I appreciate it. But I mean, like honestly, like we pushed each other, right? So like when I first got to, got to our workouts, I'm coming from a small school. And, I know James. Like, I know University of Maryland. I seen the highlights. I seen them on Sports Center, dunking on cats. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I think like each one of us like raised each other's level. Right. I knew Steph when Steph was in UMass and he was blocking shots and leading the nation and block shots and, seeing where he was getting throughout his career. I think like, I would check the box scores. Like I would check the box scores. I'm like, yo, Steph doing this. Gis is doing this. Even when we was overseas, I was just like, yo, I got to raise my level. Gis, when you got the Partizan, I was just like, yo, I got to get the EuroLeague. Steph, when you was doing what you was doing, I was like, I got to get here. So I think like all three of us, I think like, even though like we cool, but I think we all had like that friendly competition with each other because like we knew that, we wanted to, be the best, in our group or the best undersized or undersized center or whatever. But yeah, like I always said before, man, I want to give you guys your flowers, man, because I appreciate you guys. Because I think, you guys definitely pushed me and helped me kind of continue to want to raise my level of competition. So
iron definitely sharp as iron, man. Iron sharp as iron. You pushed us to the limit as well. I definitely give you that.
Oh yeah. You definitely pushed us. I mean, when you messed up is when you won EuroLeague. I'm like, hell no, we cannot pass up this opportunity to win this thing right here. What? When you won it with Olympiacos that year, I was like, no, this is the time right here. If there is anything, we can't lose today. We got everything. Just look at the computer, like EuroLeague.net. Oh, you won again. Okay. No, we got it. JG. I tell you, every night we plotted on you, man. Every night.
I already know.
Just sitting there every night during I'm talking like strictly like the first final we played. I mean, we really sat there and said, man, he's the only guy that we really got to worry about. If we take him out, the whole tough guy,
everything goes down.
Everything crumbles.
We had to take you out first, man. That was. I will tell you that you definitely pushed us, bro.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story though. Like, so like when I was in Greece, like this was a like motivating factor. I would be walking around, people be like, James Gist, like James Gist, or they'd be like, Steph Lasme. I ain't Steph Lasme. So like I was like, you know what? Like that was a motivating factor for me. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure these people when I walk around, they know my name. Because y'all like coming from Panathinaikos, like y'all was everything. You know what I mean? At that time, like Olympiacos, we hadn't won anything. Like we had won the EuroLeague, but we hadn't won what you guys had won coming from that tradition. Mm-hmm. So I remember like that. I used to walk around and be like, yo, that's James Gist. And I'll be like, nah. And I'll be like, that was like a motivating factor for me. I was like, like I gotta push myself because I want these people to remember my name. Like so. Like I said before, like you said, like you guys are motivated from me. I was motivated from you guys as well. So like I said, it was all iron sharp as iron.
When did you get hip to EuroLeague? Did you know about EuroLeague prior to going overseas and like not getting drafted and stuff like that, or is that like something that you were like always aspired to?
I had really no idea. The guy that I did train with when I was down in Carolina, he had been telling me about Maccabi Tel Aviv. And he just kept telling me about, how Maccabi was like the Lakers of Europe and all this different type of stuff. So I only really knew like of the big teams. I knew like Maccabi. I knew of Josh Childress when Josh Childress signed that big contract with Olympiacos. Yeah. So I really didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know what like EuroLeague was. I only knew of like the names of certain teams. So I had no idea about like overseas basketball. Like I literally went over there blind. I didn't know there was different divisions. I didn't know anything. So I literally just like, talked to my agent. My agent was like, yo, these are the teams interested. I signed a contract. I met Trinkitty. The next day I was gone. So like I really had no idea about what EuroLeague was. And then at the time, like we old, like there wasn't no YouTube and Google and all that stuff back then. It was like you just went over. So
right.
Yeah, I had no idea, bro. Honestly, no idea.
What about you, Steph? When was the first time you heard or figured out about EuroLeague? Did you know about it beforehand or?
No, I heard about EuroLeague when I got to Serbia. I mean, and Serbia got the Adriatic League, the local league, the Serbian league, and the EuroLeague.
Right.
So I played 70% of the season. I didn't even think about there was a thing called the Final Four. I kept just playing and trying to win games, but even by the time you get a older player, you start to doing the math like everybody else. Like if we win this game, we might get this position. Man, I played the whole season. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Right.
I was just playing, and honestly, I was playing and just being mad that I was there. So, because you're a kid, you just got there, you just don't know how grateful you are.
Yeah.
We get there. I was just mad that I was there. Always thinking that you should be somewhere else, looking at other players playing on bigger teams, and you realize like it's kind of it's level to this, right? You're in Serbia playing for Partizan. It's a cool situation, but it's not. You're not treated the same as a Barcelona,
and
you can tell by just watching the game and all that stuff. So I discovered everything right on that, playing against guys and stuff, playing against teams, see how they come in the city, or we go to their city and we see how different they're getting treated.
Right.
We were in Partizan, like different level of contract. When I learned about the contract, that was like
crazy, right? It's
mind blowing
shit, man. It's real, bro. It really is levels to this shit. And I didn't realize that either. Like to the point I was saying, like when I found out about EuroLeague, my first year, I got drafted by the Spurs, and Pop, he called me, right before training camp started, was like, yo, you gonna go overseas for a year. I'm like, man, fuck, why I gotta go overseas for a year? And he was just like, I killed summer league. I'm ready to go to training camp, and boom, it's lit. So he's like, nah, you're not gonna play. He was like, we got Mike Finley, we got Richard Jefferson, Antonio McDyess, Theo Ratliff, Tim Duncan, Matt Bonner, who was shooting 60% from the three. So that's six bigs. He was like, you're not gonna play. Like even if you do play good, you're just not gonna play. He was like, it's better that you get the experience, you get the playing time, how we play. We'll monitor you, we'll come over, all that stuff. So cool. Boom, I go to Italy my first year with Biella. And my point guard, Joe Smith, he's an agent now. I think with Lasme Group. Maybe don't quote me on that, but he's an agent now. He represents a lot of players in the league. He took me out to dinner one night, and he was like, "Let's go watch EuroLeague game." Siena was one of the top teams in the EuroLeague at that time. They were the top team in Italy for sure. They were blowing everybody out, by 30. So I'm thinking like, Terrell McIntyre, Sean Stonewall, Dahmer, Calcanis, those dudes killing. I'm sitting here like, this is the best team I ever seen, at a professional level. And so he's like, man, they're playing some team called Panathinaikos. Mind you, I didn't know, fast forward, that I'd be playing for this team. Didn't know I was watching, the champions or what they had been doing for so many years. I wasn't hip to it at all. And so I'm sitting here like, all right, Siena got the home game. They probably about to beat the shit out of this team. Man, we turned the game on. Powell was up 30. They dusted him off by 30. And I'm sitting there like, who is this? I'm watching the game like,
guys.
Whatever level this is, because this ain't first division Italy. Clearly, this team is from Greece. They're playing, Siena, who's the champion in Italy at the time. It's like, man, what league is this? I need to know what league this is. If I'm not going to be in the NBA, I for sure need to be in this one way or another. And I didn't know how to get there. Eventually, it planned out to be there, but that was my take on it, and how I got there. And once I found out, my first year, like Steph said in Partizan, you get there, you just playing. You don't realize, games you got to win. You don't realize, the levels to it or nothing. You're going against none of that. My first big game, we played Maccabi the first game, and we got dusted by like 20. But my first big-time matchup was Mirza Teletovic when he was in Baskonia. And he had just came in the ACB.
Cold.
He might have had 11 threes. And, the coach gave me the highlight and was like, here, you need to watch this before we play tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch it, check it out. I'm just coming from San Antonio. I'm pissed that I'm even over here. So I'm like, I'm about to kill everybody anyway. This dude hit 11 threes. He pulling up from half court. He got an ultimate green light, fed green light type thing. You feel me? Just pulling up. And he's 6'8", 6'9", athletic, can really go. I'm like, damn, this is who I got to play tomorrow? It was just that. And I'm like, okay, so it's some dudes that can really boogie over here. You really got to come ready. And so from then on, you learn the different levels to it. My next year was Fenerbahce. Then after that, how it goes on. And then we ended up in Greece together. But it's just funny to hear the stories about how you found out about EuroLeague or how people found out about EuroLeague in general and what, kept you going in that direction,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a question for both of y'all. Like, when did y'all? Because I think about this all the time. Like, when did y'all stop being we talked about before? Stop being pissed off that you in Europe because you're not stop being mad that you're not in the league. Like, when did you be like, yo, I could actually make a life or a living and playing overseas? Like, you stop worrying about the league. Like, when was that for both of y'all?
I want to say, my short answer is after the first year in Partizan, I was sold on being in Europe.
Yeah,
I was sold on just having a career instead of just chasing the league.
Yeah.
But the way what was different about me is because my family, with my wife and my kids, were in the States, and I was playing in Europe, and I have the Gabon passport. So for me to get back to the States, I had to just every year, the whole time I was playing, I just had to find a summer league team that would invite me, and I get in the States. So I would just show up in Vegas, sit on the bench, wait, and just yeah, man. That's how I got back in the States. So to me, I was always involved in summer league, so I always was kind of saw what's happening. But really, after Serbia, just my first contract was maybe $250, man, and just seeing that amount of money that I just stacked up during the year. And I didn't have to really worry about paying for stuff because they give you the house, the car, minimum amount of money in Serbia get you to eat. So I got to stack up all this money, not spend much, and just come home and sit during the summer and just don't think about no problem, just chilling. This is when I said, nah, I'm good. I'm good with you. I'll pay go, just play basketball, stack up all year, and just bring that cash back to the house, sit during the summer, do that shit again. So that's how I was thinking every year after that. But really, yeah, man, first year, I was done.
Yeah, nah.
How about you, Jay?
I always wanted to try to get back to the league because I felt like I didn't get that opportunity. With San Antonio, I felt like it was short-lived because of the situation. It wasn't because of my ability. It was because of the numbers, It didn't have to do with basketball. And that's another side. It's the business side when it comes to it. So I felt like I didn't get a fair shot. But at the same time, I was living the life in Europe, man. Like, you understand how it is, when you got a whole country, not just the city or just you got a whole country. Like, they
Yeah.
pulling up. Like, everybody recognize you. You treated like the star over there. And so even though I was going through that, the 1 year that I had the opportunity to move on was the year I went to Fenerbahce. That was the year of the NBA lockout. I had the opportunity to sign with Denver when I was about to leave Partizan. But there was a threat of the NBA lockout. And so it was like, man, you could either wait, see what happens, or you sign with Fener and keep going on with your career over here. And then, we'll do it as that goes. So, of course, signed with Fener. Never got that opportunity. And then about my third or fourth year in PAL, I think me and my wife were out, and this was preseason, man. We got into an argument one time. We got into an argument about it because she was like, look, you at the top of your game, you're living a life, what is it that you really want? What are you doing this for? And I really had to sit there and think about it because I felt like I didn't get a fair shot. I was hot, man. I was like, man, I deserve to be over there. And she was just like, you getting paid. We're living good. The family's here. Everything's cool. You the man. Like, if you go to the league, you can go to the league, but are you going to be living like this? Are you cool with that? And I was just like, you're right. Because at one time, she was professional in what she did. She did theatrical dance, and she was really good. She had an accident, and so she wasn't able to continue on with her career. And so she just had to have a conversation with me like, look, you're living your dream. This is the dream of basketball. What's the dream, right? So you really got to ask yourself, what's your motivation behind it? Why are you doing it? And so when I asked myself that, I was like, yo, you're right. I'm in Greece right now. You walk in Oaxaca. We had 30,000 in there one time, Steph. 30K.
Everyone loves you.
And everybody love you,
Everyone
man.
loves you.
Show you love, man. You want to give that up for what? Kendrick Nunn's saying it now. Kendrick Nunn's saying it right now.
Yeah.
He got him
exactly.
early. This man ain't even thinking about going back to the States, bro. You see how it's going. Jabari Parker dealt with it in Barcelona. You feel me? For him, he's going through a lot of injuries in his career. And for him to step out and come overseas and now go to a space where they accepted him and he gets to enjoy and understand how basketball is really played, for hoopers, we really want to play the right way to win and stuff like this. And for him to enjoy it and still be over here and enjoy it. You got guys coming over here left and right that are really understanding what that experience is like, man. And so it really is real, man. That's a real question, God, for real.
Wow, for me, it was like when we got to Greece, like honestly, like I was still chasing the league up until like that lockout year. I got to Greece, the Olympiacos, that lockout year, and like once I realized like I can really like I talked to Mike Batiste, and once I talked to Mike, he totally switched my whole type mentality when I got there. Like I sat down and I was talking to him, and I was like, yo, you doing this? Like you've been over here for how long? And I was like, and then not the whole like money. That wasn't necessarily like the motivation, but at the same time, you see how much he's making and how long he's been over there and how successful and how loved he is. And I was like, I could now I can see myself like having a career and like staying here. And at that moment, like I just stopped chasing the league. I was just like, I'm just going to like whatever happens. Like I'm gonna be like I'm trying to play at the highest level possible, and that whether or not it's in Europe, the NBA, whatever. And that kind of like shift my whole mentality. Like after having a conversation with him, so. Yeah, I mean, I always wonder when guys kind of figure that out or when guys like look at that because that's always like kind of like I always look at like the hinder like when guys come over it's like you most of the time you pissed off that you there
right
and then trying to
so what are your thoughts about this NBA Europe thing that might be in discussion and things like trying to get something in the league going as far as that because I mean how the competition is in EuroLeague what it's been from the time when we were playing to what it's grown to now. Do you think that you should mess with that? Do you think that like this is something positive? What are your thoughts on that? Do you have freedom to speak about it?
I mean, it's interesting. I think it's definitely interesting. I mean, first of all, the fact that the NBA wants to come to Europe, I think this shows the how great the product is over in Europe. You look at the fans, you look at everything. So for me, I'm gonna get a political answer saying that I want what's best for European basketball. My only goal is that whatever happens out of this is that that all the EuroLeague, the NBA, FIBA, whatever it is, like they try to do what's best for the fans and they try to do what's best for EuroLeague or EuroLeague basketball as a whole, because I think that should be the main goal. I think you look over there, it is, the second best league in the world, but I definitely think it has some of the best fans in the world, like the pride, what people, take about basketball, how they feel about the game, how they feel about their teams is a lot different. Like we know it. How people in Greece feel about Panathinaikos and Olympiacos is a lot different than how they feel about, teams or fandom here. So I think, like I said, I think that I guess the short answer is that I just hope that I look at it as interesting, but I just hope that like whatever happens, that basketball in Europe is able to be elevated the way that it should be.
Gotcha. Respect.
Yeah, keep the NBA out. Keep the NBA out and save our product, man. Get them out of here. Unless it's a great business deal for us, keep them out, man. I think we should keep the same product. It's what's working for the European leagues, for Europeans in general, and for us, foreign players that are coming in. We're playing a different type of basketball. Although I love watching NBA, but I think the basketball and EuroLeague should just stay the same. With its own rules, its own way of playing. That's what makes it fun, man. But I had one question for you, Kyle. You play for some of the best coaches in EuroLeague. I mean, you listen to the coaches that you play for, So I was wondering, like, I mean, I don't want to ask you the easy question. Who is the best coach that you have? Because it's going to be difficult for you to choose, obviously. But which one? Jens and I have a thing with coaches being able to get in your head without even knowing to get you better, right? And what is the coach like? What was that guy that was in your head so hard? That guy got in your head and made you better, even though you were fighting for it. And I have a story for you. Before you go.
Yeah.
We had the coach in Panathinaikos. Until today, he tells me it's because of him that I won Defensive Player of the Year. But we used to, James and I used to call him the ninja because he would just get in our head. So one way he would get to motivate us when we play against you would say, he knew what we wanted to do because he put limits in the way we could play. How European coach put limits in the way you play.
Yeah. And
he would say, man, you guys don't even know. Kyle Hines is the best ball handling big man in Europe. This thing he used to say that on purpose, though, but he would get us better because he would get ready to go against you. Because he knew we wanted to be able to handle the ball on the floor. We knew we could, but he had limitation. He was a tougher guy. When you get the rebound, pass the ball to the guard. Do not,
pass the ball. Pass the ball to them.
Here I am. I'm waving guys off. I'm waving Theodosius and Billy off. I'm like, nah, I got this. Go ahead, y'all.
Let's go, Kyle. You get the rebound. Out. Boom, boom.
So when people said who's one of the best coaches you had, I know he is, right? But I know he had a way to get into my head, right? To stop me from doing things that make me do positive things. And I want to know, who's that guy for you? Who's that guy for you?
So yeah, like you said, I mean, I've been fortunate, like very fortunate to have like some of the best coaches in Europe, to work with them. So, I mean, it's always a hard answer because I think I learned. So like, I'm big at like just like soaking up knowledge and like soaking up game and picking up game. So like, I try to pick up game from like everybody I meet. And I think, the coaches that have all been around, like they've definitely allowed me, and I've definitely been able to like really soak up a lot of game. But I'm gonna say like, because I was with him the longest, and I think he helped me raise my level of my career at a time where I was kind of unsure about myself. I'm gonna say that was Coach Tudors. I think he definitely, because I had gone from when I was in Olympiacos, and I was arguably probably like one of the top, let's say, American players, going to when I went to go to Cheska, right?
Right.
And I don't think many people remember, like, I didn't play in Cheska. Like, I didn't play. Like, I was like, I had some minutes, but it was our roster and our team was like so deep that like it was difficult for me to get on the floor. We already had 3 centers. We had Sasha Khan, we had Nate Kirstic. We eventually got I think we had Karolinko one year. So, we had Victor Krapa. We had like all these guys. So I'm coming from like Olympiacos where it was like literally like that last year with Joey left, I literally can do whatever I wanted to because I knew that like, I was going to play this amount of time. So here I am going to Cheska. And I remember we played Nanterre the very first game. And I missed 2 like offensive rebound, 2 box out assignments or something like that. And then coach would see the bench me and I ain't played the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So like that whole entire season, like, and I understand like what he was doing and why he was doing it, but like my confidence low key was at like an all time low because I was just coming out like I was just here and I was like second guessing my going to Russia. I was second guessing everything.
Definitely.
So like when I had Coach Tudors, he really came and like just gave me confidence. He was like, listen, like yo, you're gonna be our guy. And he was like, he had ways to like motivating me. He had ways of like, days where he would yell at me and curse me out. There's days where he would kind of like big me up. We lived in the same apartment building. So there was days where he would just come down and we would just talk. There's other days where, like we'd be on the same elevator. He didn't say one word to me after like a bad game or whatever. So like, it was like little things that he knew, like to try to push me to, to raise my level. And then even like the last 2 years, like he named me captain, which is like, y'all know me, like I'm not the most talkative person, the most like boisterous person. I like kind of like chilling being in the background. But he was like, listen, like, I know this is not a comfortable role for you, but I see something bigger than you that's going to last, not only for while you playing, but like for your career is over. So I'm going to name you captain because I can see the way that you lead and different things that you're doing. And like, it may put you in an uncomfortable role, but you need to do this in order for you to be a better player. So I think he forced me to like be in a position to kind of like not only play, but also like lead individuals. So I would definitely say him, man, like, cause he had the ability just because we knew each other and we had a lot of like nonverbal type of like communications. Like sometimes he didn't even have to say it. It was just like a look. And I already knew it was like, all right, man, I'm over here BSing. Like I got to turn it up a little bit. Right. So I think definitely him. I think he was the guy that definitely helped me kind of raise to a different level in my career for sure.
In that aspect, like what would be your advice to young players coming up right now or players right now that are involved in the EuroLeague? Americans coming over to try to get, established in Europe in general. Like, what would be your advice to them as far as kind of accepting the roles that are being presented to you and also understanding that, you're in a situation where you should probably accept where you're at, and try to make the best of it. Because, like you said, like, when was it when we stopped trying to chase a lead? When was it when we, we settled into what we were actually doing and really tried to, like, get the best out of it? What would be your advice to players like that? Because you're going to come across coaches that you're going to deal with, and it's like, damn, what the fuck? Like, you're not going to know how to adjust. And a lot of players tap out. So how do you not tap out? Like, what would be your suggestion and your advice?
I would say, first of all, like, my first thing is always, like, the moment that I stopped worrying about stats and, like, individual performance and I started focusing on, like, team goals and trying to do whatever I could possibly do to help the team win, because, that's what matters most in Europe. We've gotten our biggest contracts when our team has won and have done well after that. So for me, that was the first thing. Like, don't worry about like your individual goals. Like, start buying into like what the team does. Buy into like, the buy into winning, because winning is the way that you can get anything you want. That's what over there. So I would say that's number one. Number two, I always say like you got to really lock into like where you're at. Like, don't worry about what's home. Don't worry about, things going on in the States. Like, really lock into where you at, because, the moment that you lock into where you at, that's where you start really buying into like, what's going to happen there. So I always tell guys, like, don't sit in your apartment and sit there and just playing PlayStation or, not leave. Like, go out, experience the city, learn the language, go out with some of your, like when we was in Greece, go out with some of your Greek teammates, go to some of these places, go to the Bazookies, go to, go to the beach, go to their house for dinner, like go to all these different places, because like once you do those things and you really kind of buy in, then you're going to notice that like it's going to like really have like a dramatic change in how you play and how you feel about it. It's like, if you sitting there mad, like we talked about before, if you mad that you there, then you're not really going to ever like really get a chance to really experience, really enjoy the experience for what it is. So I would say that. And lastly, I would say just be elite in your role. Like, they're bringing you over for a reason. Try to find a way to be elite in your role. Like for me, like once I started buying into, like I said before, like I was trying to be the best screener possible. I'm here playing with Spanulis, Nano DeColo, Sergio Rodriguez, Milos Teodosic. Like, I would go into the game and be like, yo, how can I get them open shots?
Facts.
I was like, if I get them open shots, like that's going to make my job a lot easier. So all I was like, yo, how if they had a bad game, I was like, then it's on me, because I didn't do my job to get them open. So I was like, how can I get them open shots? And then, like I said, once I started buying into defense, like my coach in Bamberg, he once told me, because I used to be like he coming into college, like I was a good defender, but I was like one of those ones that gambled. I was trying to get block shots. I was trying to do all that different type of stuff. And he was like, yo, if you just lock in and be solid and worry about your matchup, then he was like, you could be one of the best defenders over here. So like once I started, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to lock in on my matchup. I'm going to talk on defense, and I'm going to set screens. And once I worried about those three things, like my career kind of took off. So I would say like, yo, simplify the game, enjoy the reason why you're over there, and make the most of your opportunity while you're there. And like I said, you're going to deal with some BS just because like that's just what it is. Like overseas basketball isn't necessarily pretty. Like there's no perfect situation in overseas basketball.
Facts.
Everywhere you go, you're going to deal with something. But you always got to look at the bigger picture in your mind. Like, do I really need to like go crazy or spaz out because of this or whatever it is? Like, you really got to think about the bigger picture. So those are the things I always tell young players. Like, go over there and just really enjoy the experience because like here we are, talking about our experience over there. And I would say like, I played over there for 16 years. You guys played over there for double-digit years. And I would say like those experiences are probably some of the best experience of my life, but also like my family's lives, my kids' lives. Like we talk about those experiences all the time. So it's like, why are you there? Try to make the most of it because if you do it the right way, like we all know that you could be a legend there and you can go back there and be there for the rest of your life. So
real spill.
You said some other stuff, man. I heard some. What is I don't know what it is. Can you tell a friend what Buzuki is? Because I don't know. I've never been to one.
Oh, you never been? You over here lying to the people? you going straight up and lie to the people?
Oh,
I had to. I've never been to one.
I've
never been to one. But I just wonder what's happening in Buzuki's,
Man, it's one of those. It's one of those ones. It's one of those ones where if I tell you, it's better for me to show you than tell you, right? Like,
yeah. Hey, you just have to be there.
You just gotta be there. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a Greek live music. That's the best way to say it.
It's the party after. Let's just go ahead.
It's the party after the party. It's a Greek live music club where they play these different songs. I think bouzouki is an instrument. I think it's the guitar, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to
right.
I don't want to mess it up. But it's like a string instrument.
Right.
But you go in there and pretty much the main aspect is you all at these tables, you sitting at these tables. You know what I mean? There's probably, I don't know, let's say 500, 600 people, and they're basically watching this person perform on stage. And then basically what it is that you drinking, you having a good time, and then you getting flowers, like plates of flowers.
Stacks
like this.
Boom.
Stacks. Stacks of flowers. So you paying for these flowers, and it's probably the dumbest concept ever, but whatever. totally a stupid concept, but you taking these flowers and you just throw them at the guy on stage. Or, I mean, for the single folks out there, you throwing them at a girl. You see a girl you like, pick up the flowers.
Smack him in the head.
Smack her in the head. Let her know.
Throw him. The harder you throw him, the more you love him.
Exactly. Boom. I'm talking about, man. We like the way. I don't know what I should be saying, but the way that they have bottle wars over here.
Yeah.
We have flower. Like we used to have flower wars. Like, oh, he just ordered 15 flowers. Give me 20. Give me 20 plates.
For real.
He ordered. Keep them coming. I remember we was in there one time, and there was literally like a line, and like there was just the girls like just holding the flowers, and then they would just take it. They would just drop them off the table. Somebody would catch them, throw it. Somebody else would come drop it off, just throw it. Like, yeah, man.
Hey, you in there when you win the championship. You're in there when you win the championship. That's it.
When you win the championship.
when you win the championship, you win the championship. It's over. They got the whole place for yourself, man. You got a whole place for yourself.
And you walk out of there, you be like, yo, it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
It's 8 o'clock. What the hell happened? Like, I just got there. It was just my time. Yeah. Championship night. Yeah, but I think we want to talk about this that day, the cup game, when my people shot you while you weren't paying attention. Because I know if you saw this coming, you would have ducked that thing. But I didn't see it, man. I only saw the video. That's what I mentioned last time. So I was very interested in getting your point of view on that story.
So, I mean, you guys already know. So, like, we play the cup. So the cup, I think Gis already explained it before. So when you playing this cup, it's the only time that Olympiacos or Panathinaikos fans is in the same arena, right? It's in a neutral arena, but it's not really a neutral arena. It's in arena in the middle of the airport. There's an old airport in Athens. They put an arena there. And then you only play in this arena one time of the year for the cup. So they got Olympiacos fans on one end zone, Panathinaikos fans on the other end zone. In between is the whole entire Greek police force. It's sitting in between the fans, right? So before you get there, I don't know if y'all told this, but it was like you pulling up like you the president. Like,
oh yeah.
you hop on the bus, and it's literally like you got a full-on motorcade. You got police, like 3 or 4 police buses, like following your bus, basically like in enclosure in your bus.
Yeah.
So that way, like there's nobody can get around, like nobody can get in between. And then as you driving to the game, they shutting down every single road as you go into the game. So like the way you see you watch Coming to America, the way you see like my man pull up from the airport and the way he's pulling up, like that's the same way like we pull up. Or you watch like President Obama or like the presidents or whatever they pull, like Kings pull up, like that's the way we pulling up to the game, right? So your adrenaline is already high. Like you already you've been hearing this all week talking about everywhere you go, everybody's talking about F Panathinaikos, F Olympiacos, this, that, and the other. You better not do this. So your adrenaline is already pumped, right? You up, right? You up right now. You up. So you walking in the game, it's almost like a boxing match. So you walking in the game, you ready to go. So like I said, you walk into the atmosphere. So I'm out there warming up, and I'm so locked in focus. Like I didn't even realize like I was the last one on the floor. So I'm just going through my warm up routine, doing what I usually do, doing everything I do, and I'm seeing the flares, but like I'm prideful right now. I'm like, man, I ain't going nowhere. Like I ain't moving. Like it's my court. I'm here. Like, I'm here.
When I seen them go like this,
I'm here. Yeah, man, that's what I'm telling you about my teammates. Cause ain't nobody tapped me. Ain't nobody gave me the heads up. Ain't like I was wearing headphones. Ain't nobody was like, "Hey, yo, time to go." Like,
time to go. Nobody.
Yeah, I'm out there prideful. I'm like, nah, they might not knock me off my. Like, I'm out here. I'm gonna do my routine. So I'm still doing my routine. I see the flares going back and forth. And it's like literally like these ain't small flares. These are like these big like little July 4th like Roman candle type joints like like back and forth. So I'm at the free throw line and I'm just getting my free throws about to finish up my routine. All of a sudden I hear shoo, and this joint just hit me right in the back of my head, like right in the how something like you young, somebody slap you in the back of your head. That's the way it felt. Hit me right in the back of my head. Boom. I fall down on the ground. I'm like, yo, what happened? I don't even want to get up. I'm like, yo, what happened? I brushed my pants off. My pants is on fire, so I'm brushing my pants off.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my pants is on fire. So then I run out and I run to the hallway and I'm sitting there holding my head. I'm just like, yo, what happened? And then I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm still prideful. I'm still out there adrenaline going. I'm like, man, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm good. But I'm still holding my head. I get to the locker room. Right before I get to the locker room, I sit down, and this is the messed up part. This is the fucked up part, right? I'm sitting there, everybody looking at me like it's just nothing. This normal. I'm like, y'all just got hit in the head with a flare.
What you want them to do?
I don't know what I want them to do. I'm thinking they going to do something. I think we gonna protest.
We're gonna protest something.
We gonna do something like.
They say
guys, we're not playing. We're not playing.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're gonna do something. I'm sitting down. I'm like, yo, I just got hit. My pants has got burn marks on them. Coach Pajokas just gets up like nothing happened. Starts writing the game plan on the board. I'm sitting there hot. I'm like, yo, this is
no way. Oh,
that's what escalated everything though. Because after that happened, bro, the game didn't get past the second quarter.
No, because
second quarter, bro.
But you remember what else happened though? So we out there warming up. Obviously, they still shooting the flares or whatever. And I'm still tight. I'm like, yo, my teammates look at me like it was just normal. Like this is just what happens. Like suck it up. Like what I mean. Like you be telling your kids like get up. Like what you over here crying for? Get up. Like we got a game to play. I'm tight. I'm sitting there like yo, I just got hit with a flare. Like and we still gonna move on. Like this nothing just happened.
That's
so we in a warm up line, and then the one fight breaks out, so they had to stop. Then we end up playing, and I don't think y'all remember. You remember Bramos got hit with a boulder?
With a boulder, bro. Shoulder in the shoulder.
But I was right there. I was right next to him. This guy pulled out a half a boulder out of his pocket and just chucked that joint on the court and threw it at him.
Dude, when I seen the lighters and I seen little rocks slide by because we were taking the ball out right in front of your bench. And I seen that all the referees were at the table, and I seen that all the Panathinaikos fans and my bench was way down there. And so I'm sitting here just like, nah, I don't need to be over here right now. There's nobody else to protect me, man. So I start walking this way. As soon as I start walking this way, here come Bramos and Marcus Banks. Marcus Banks is bringing Bramos' arm is leaking, bro. He got hit in the arm. I'm sitting like, nah, hell nah, this is crazy.
Bro, the rock was like this big. Like it had to be as big as the basketball. I don't know how he got it in the game, and I don't know what tempted this guy to throw it. But he literally ran to the sideline, chucked that joint like he was throwing a shot put.
Yeah,
it hit Bramos in the shoulder.
And to that, reason is why I feel like that rivalry between Panathinaikos and Olympiacos, goes further than all the other ones because you can't have them in the gym at the same time. Like we literally had nets around the court. We had nets around the court to even play, bro. That's crazy. You got to play.
The crazy thing about it all that happened. So, and then I think at the start of the third quarter, there was a riot. So all the fans, they all met in the middle and they just all started fighting. So we had people in the stands. So we had to go. I don't know if your family was there, but we had family members in the stands.
I was there, but
we had to when they started fighting, all the police officers left. They just left them butt naked out there. So we were running to the sidelines, grabbing them, trying to put them in the locker room. Right. And the crazy thing about it, people don't understand, we still finished the game.
We had to finish the game. We still had to finish the game.
This is one game. All this happened, and we still finished the game. We still finished the game.
10 nails on, man. She left the game with probably 3 on this jump and 2 on this one. She was just like, yo, look at my hands. Man, they didn't tell me it was like this. And I'm just like, man, I didn't know it was like that because they told all the players to go to the back like they was going to handle everything. And the fan wasn't cool. Nah, that joint was lit. Not lit, but it was crazy. But that's what it is, man, over there. When you're dealing with European basketball, it's nothing. You will never see nothing like that in the States. Never seen nothing.
No, and it's that's why you said that's why it's probably the greatest rivalry, in sports. Because one of the greatest, especially in Europe. Because you said, both the teams is in there, and like I said, there's such an animosity. It shuts the city down. There's such an animosity between both the teams.
Yeah.
That it's impossible to have them both in the same gyms. It's impossible. I think now they play on. I think they play on an island. They don't even play in Athens anymore. The cup.
That's true.
They play on an island, and then, like I said, and it was a little bit different now because we didn't play each other in EuroLeague at that time. We only played each other. We only played each other during the year. So yeah. So it was it was different, man. That game always stood out to me. And it was on YouTube. I don't know if it's still on YouTube anymore when I got shot in the head.
It's on clips.
It was on YouTube.
It's clips. Tony got him. Tony got him.
It was on YouTube on the
crazy,
man. So
stuff really went down. I know we probably about to get to the end of things. One thing I really wanted to ask you before you got out of here too was what was some of your toughest matchups, playing against, defensively? You were a defensive player of the year, multiple times in the EuroLeague. Was it guards? Was it bigs? Was it wings? I have my picks on who were my hardest players to guard in EuroLeague. For you, who would it be? Who would you consider some of your hardest players or hardest defensive matchups?
I think, I don't know if it was necessarily just players. I think it was systems. I think the system you guys ran in PAL, I think was always difficult because you always had a really great point guard. So whether or not it was Nick, whether or not it was Yamaditas, so it was you had great guys always kind of pick, you'd be able to pick the defense apart. And you two, both you guys was always above the rim. So I still remember the kind of the run out you would do when you would fake the screen, you would fake the wide pin down, and you would run for the lob, little things like that, was difficult to guard because you guys was always trying to do different slips and that different type of stuff. So I think from there, I think you two definitely were difficult matchups because like you said before, I think it was a little bit different us playing on you guys was playing on Panathinaikos. So I think we always raised our level of play when we played against each other. I would say guard wise, Shane Larkin was always tough. Just because he's just so quick. He gets so low to the ground. I know that he wants to go left. Yeah. And once he kind of gets that crossover going, Mike, obviously, like Mike James. I mean, you played with him and then played against him. You know,
Right.
like once he's able to get his, like he's the. I tell him all the time, like he's the best difficult shot maker in basketball. Like
That's
he, like
it.
if you leave him open, if you make him he's better at making like a 1-footed runner or like a step back going left than he is making like a regular pull up jumper. So I
Facts.
think him. We talk about Mirza Tvelovic, like he gave us 41 one game. I think he was always difficult. Sergio Yule,
Sergio Yule, man.
because he's unpredictable. He's one of those players like you don't know, he don't know what I feel like he don't know what he's going to do, right? So it's like how do you match up against somebody that you don't know what he's going to do?
He's always on go mode. For me, those type of players were always the hardest players to guard. Is that they're not sitting there playing with the ball. They're not sitting there trying to get you to move one way and shift you another. They're getting right to it. And Serge, he was definitely the one that was always on go. Now that's some real points right there. For me, it wasn't necessarily the guards. I don't really look at too many guards that gave me trouble. Yule was definitely one of them as far as like impossible shot makers. The shots he would make at the end of the buzzer is just like, you played the best defense you can and he still cooked. Same with Mike James as far as that goes. That's just a natural talent for them. And Spanulis too. No matter what he did during the year or during the game, I mean, he could score 6 points the entire game, but that last 4 minutes, 5 minutes of the game, bro, for at least 8, 9 seasons legit, he was probably one of the hardest people to guard, man. You never knew what he was going to do.
The game winner on you.
Yeah.
The step back, like
he pulled the timeline. He pulled up from the timeline. I'm thinking he about to try to do his little ball.
But I feel like you knew, like you like everybody knew he was going to shoot. You knew it was coming. This is it's one of the ones.
I knew it was coming. I didn't know it was coming that quick. I didn't know he was going to go one dribble and go for the shot because he had like 5-6 seconds. So I'm like, they at least get to the 3-point line. He got that joint inbound and took one dribble, let that bitch fly. He wasn't going, but that's why I said that's the hardest thing to guard, where somebody just gets right to it as a part of trying to set something up. If you set something up, I've already timed it. I've already got my space. I already know where I'm gonna catch you at. I already know where I'm sending you. So, but with players like that, for me, the hardest guards though, like the hardest players to guard, were like those Jokic type players, bro. Those bigs like Bjelica, not the Nemanja Bjelica. That was a big one. It was a Red Star.
Big slappy Serbian.
Huh?
Big slappy Serbian.
Yeah, man.
The big dude with all the moves.
Samanovic that played at Ephes. Like ones that footwork, they weren't athletic. They had a good shot, but they always made you feel like you were late. Even if you weren't. You always as athletic as you were and being able to catch them. They always hit you with the fakes and things like this. And Prentezis was another one who was one of the hardest guys that I had to play against at guard and had to prepare myself for because, and my coach and pal used to say this, the one that Steph was talking about the mind games, the ninja. He used to say, Greek dancing, man. He used to dance. He was like, all the fakes, he dance, man. He said, just stay down. Don't go for the fake.
I was lucky because I played with him for 2 years, and I would literally, like I said, I'd be soaking up games. So I'd be watching him. So I knew what he was. I knew the end result of all those fakes. I knew that he was trying to do something just to get back to his go-to move. So I would literally just sit on it, and I would just wait, and then not let him get to his go-to move. Like he's definitely like one-on-one.
He was shooting floaters from the 3-point line, like 10, 15 foot. Yeah. You can't I'm sorry. He was one of the toughest guards, like for me personally, and I had to get ready, like you said. Like we motivated each other. You especially, like Princesses was another one. Like Billy, y'all were motivational when it came to matches, man. That's why I think they were so intense, and I think that's why a lot of them will go down in the history books, bro.
Kyle, we're for sure gonna have you back.
Yeah, man. We got stories for days, man. There's so many things that we haven't even touched
the amount of accolades between you three. In your professional careers. Yeah, we're gonna have to do this a couple more times throughout the seasons over here. But thanks for joining us today, man. This was awesome.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you guys, man. Thank you for continuing to push this culture forward. Thank you for continuing to kind of speaking what European and overseas basketball is, because like we talked about before, there's not a lot of people that have seen what we've seen, have done what we've done, have accomplished what we accomplished. So we get opportunity to kind of show it and talk about it from our perspective, because like I said, between us three on this podcast, like we've been able to see it all and accomplish all and done it all. So why not, hear our stories and, hear from our point of view as well. So
Gotcha.